So how were your 2 days off? Or what did you do?
I thought Mike Connolly was going to have a stress-induced heart attack when I took the days off because I was constantly getting texts from him. Other than that, it was a lot of fun. I hung out with Kim. We did a bunch of Valentine's Day stuff, all the cheesy romantic stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, I was sick with COVID, so that was not fun. But it was so weird. I'm like, it's 2023 and I got COVID.
I had a lot of fun when I had COVID. I just canned by the pool the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, I sat outside yesterday and did my work, and I'm like, this is nice. But now my nose is bright red. All right. Well, James, welcome to the Swell podcast, virtual this time. So if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role at McGRAW. I know you've been on the podcast before, but those that are tuning in for the first time that don't know you.
My name is James Higbee. I've been the CTO here at McGRAW for a little bit over 4 years now. My responsibilities are primarily related to the technology that makes the company work. So, for instance, data analytics, running paid media, setting up softwares, consulting with clients on how to best use their software, integrations, making sure that the systems are all working together properly, and just making sure that all the technology systems, are doing what they're supposed to be in the most optimal way possible.
So today's episode, we're going to be talking about HubSpot integrations. And so can you just start off by giving us a brief overview on what HubSpot integrations are and how they can be beneficial to your business?
So HubSpot integrations are where you integrate other systems, say Facebook advertising, QuickBooks for accounting, any other CRMs that you may be using. You can integrate them into HubSpot so you have an overview of what all your systems are doing in one place. For instance, probably the easiest one to discuss would be social media. So Facebook ads, if you're running Facebook advertising, you can integrate that with HubSpot, where leads will automatically come in. You can see your ad spend. You can see the projections of what you're, projected to spend over the course of the ad campaign and what that should bring in terms of leads. So it gives you a much more granular view of what your ad campaigns are doing, or in other cases, what your other systems are doing to help your business.
And so who could benefit from integrations? Does it matter by the size of the company or the type of business?
I think that if you're using multiple technology systems, any business could benefit from an integration with HubSpot, and having that overview of what everything is doing all in one place makes it much easier than having to jump from tab to tab or system to system.
And so HubSpot has over 1,000 integrations, and this number just keeps on growing. And so what are some of the different type of integrations out there? I know you already mentioned a few, and what are some of the more popular ones?
So the most popular one I would probably say is, advertising, whether that's Google AdWords or Facebook ads, linking those campaigns into your HubSpot. Some of the other popular ones, for instance, is Sakari, which integrates a phone system into your HubSpot so you can make calls, texts right from the contact record inside of HubSpot. QuickBooks, obviously is great, so that way you are able to see accounts receivable, accounts payable, see what's happening in real time in terms of finance. We've done integration with Salesforce, other CRMs, so that way if you do one thing in Salesforce, it automatically updates in HubSpot, and vice versa. As far as what's the most popular, what the best integrations are, I think it really depends on the business itself and what their goals are and what they're using as far as what would be the best integrations to use.
So what are some of the integrations that you have utilized that you have found to be the most beneficial here while working at McGraw?
For me, it would definitely be the marketing side, as I run a lot of the paid media for our team. Integrating Google AdWords, integrating Facebook, I'm able to see what campaigns are performing the best, what search terms in Google are getting us the most action, which ones aren't. I'm able to see so far in depth is okay, this lead came in on this page, they filled out this form at this time, they got there by searching for this keyword, and then that helps me optimize our campaigns by figuring out, okay, this is where we should be focusing our spend, this is what we should be removing from the campaign. Just makes optimization a whole lot easier. Some of the other ones that I've used, for instance, Sakari, having that ability to have calls, texts, emails all in one place as it happens in real time inside HubSpot. I think that's really beneficial. Just that way on the sales process side, you have all that information right there. I would say probably between social media and Sakari, those are the two that I've really seen the most benefit out of from my perspective.
Yeah, it sounds like HubSpot Integrations does a good job of really allowing for transparency within a business and kind of giving a good, customer journey overview. So how does integrating with HubSpot, with these other tools help the customer experience?
As far as helping, for our customers being on the business side, it really helps them see what's going on in their company. And as a CEO, you're generally over, several departments that are all doing different things at different times. So when you have these integrations, it allows you to see that 30,000 foot overview of this is what's going on inside my company, at any moment of the day. And if you want to see what the future is looking like and what your projections are, HubSpot also gives you that ability to where you can see, okay, this is what we're doing right now. This is what it looks like we're going to be doing in the future.
And so where can you get integrations? Like, how does this process work?
So it depends on the system that you're trying to integrate with. There are some native HubSpot integrations where it's as simple, like for instance, it's social media where you just log into your account through HubSpot and it automatically integrates. There are other ones that require APIs. So, you're setting up a posting string to push that data, which is another thing that I assist with, is creating those APIs, making sure that the data is coming in the right places. And then if it's something that HubSpot's never used before, HubSpot does have an open API. So you are able to build your own strings around HubSpot's parameters, as long as your other system also has an open API. So you can do custom integrations, and they also have native integrations. And there's a million and one different ways that you can approach that.
And I know that you can integrate HubSpot with other CRMs such as Salesforce. And so is this beneficial? Is this necessary?
So that's more of a case-by-case basis. I would say in the grand scheme of things, it's unnecessary. I think having two CRMs at the same time is very counterproductive, and why have two systems that are both doing the same thing. That being said, we do have, I want to say, one or two clients that they needed Salesforce for one very specific reason related to their industry, and they could not survive without it. But they want HubSpot for the rest of the overview and the integrations that HubSpot offered in the projections. So in that case, we did have to integrate, and it was beneficial to integrate HubSpot with Salesforce. But I think as a general overview, I think the best solution is to have one CRM, so that way all your stuff is in one place instead of jumping between multiple systems.
Yeah, I feel like that makes the most sense. And HubSpot is, an all-in-one platform. And so I guess, like you said, just kind of a case-by-case basis there. And so what are some common pain points that businesses are experiencing with integrations, and how can those be addressed?
The biggest pain point that we see, and it's not necessarily with HubSpot, it's more when we deal with people that have Salesforce or have, Pipedrive or any of the other CRMs that are out there. When a lot of the other softwares that are out there don't have open APIs, they have to have native integrations if you want to connect. So, and there are a lot of businesses out there that they aren't able to connect, their merchant processing system or their accounting system, or if they have proprietary systems, they aren't able to connect it because some of these other CRMs won't allow those custom integrations. That's the real benefit of HubSpot that I think a lot of businesses are seeing, is that we haven't come across a software that we can't integrate with HubSpot yet. And some of the more out there softwares like Tallulah for freight brokering, you're able to integrate that with HubSpot. And HubSpot is just so inclusive, and I think that would be the biggest pain point on integrations that a lot of companies are running into, is lacking the inclusiveness that HubSpot offers. So, and if you can't integrate something that's needed to see how your business is doing or create reports on your business, obviously that CRM isn't working. So I think that would be the biggest pain point. It's lack of ability to integrate, which HubSpot is the solution to.
Right. And with integrations, is there kind of this less is more mentality? Like, is like a business? Do they get too bogged down with so many integrations? Like, what would you recommend?
No, I would say the more integrations, the merrier is my initial thought on that. And what I mean by that isn't necessarily like go out and integrate everything ever, but it's if you're using, Facebook ads and you're using QuickBooks and there are a bunch of different systems that are used to run every single part of the business. I think that if you integrate them all into HubSpot, I think it takes away, that feeling of getting bogged down because you have all that information in one place.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so obviously here at McGRAW, we're a HubSpot Gold Solutions partner. And so can you kind of give maybe a few examples of how McGraw has helped businesses utilize HubSpot integrations?
So I can think of one business in particular that we helped them with the reporting features. They were looking for more visibility, more projections on, what does the future look like? What do our current efforts look like? How is our current pipeline looking in terms of generating revenue? And by using their QuickBooks accounts receivable, accounts payable, integrating that information into HubSpot, creating a deal flow and a pipeline of those deals so they had easy visibility of what was going on, we were able to give those clients the full visibility that they were looking for. They were able to see what their projections were. They were able to see where their weak points were. And they were able to focus on that, and in turn, I believe their revenue increased by like 3.5% or something like that within the first few months, just by picking up on lost opportunities. So I think, we are a Gold Solutions partner because we do bring very good solutions when it comes to this area. And I think that's really being able to map out and say, hey, this is what you're missing. This is what you need to see. This is what you need to focus on, sort of our strong suits of consulting. I think that's where we've really been able to benefit people.
And so what are some of the best practices for maintaining and optimizing integrations over time? Like, how do you stay up to date? Things like that.
Well, and that's one of the cool things about integrating is, and it pushes that data over in real time, so it's constantly keeping itself up to date. I think the best way really to stay on top of it and make sure you're looking at the right things is to create those custom reports, create those projection reports, stay inside of the deals pipeline, make sure that all your buckets, whether it's prospecting, contracts have been sent out, closed one, make sure that all of those are in line so that way you can really spend your time focusing on increasing your revenue as opposed to being worried about, jumping between systems or looking at data.
And what would your advice be to businesses that are just starting out with exploring HubSpot integrations?
Speak to McGraw, because McGraw can hold your hand through the entire process and show you how to do it the right way. That is one thing that, I've seen a lot of customers come to us that they tried to do it themselves and it didn't necessarily work out. I think starting off with a consultancy that knows their way around HubSpot, knows how to build out exactly what you're looking for, that is by far the best way to get started.
And I think those are about all the questions that I had prepared today. Is there anything else that you feel like we didn't touch on, or?
I think that pretty much so covers it. I think HubSpot is a great solution to businesses that are looking to really get themselves organized and, have a strategy for grit. I think you can't go wrong by working with us. I may be a little bit biased, but I think we've really gotten to know HubSpot over the last several years. And I think our client success speaks for itself. I think HubSpot is the future to really being able to run businesses, and I'm happy that we're a part of that.
Well, thank you, James, for joining today and for all of your HubSpot integrations insight. Definitely very interesting. So thank you for joining.
Well, thanks for having me on as always. I'm looking forward to next time.